can. Yes. So just to talk about 2025, I think we have other people in our group that will also contribute to this particular meeting. Kirsten is here, and Felix is here, and Martin. They've all been very much instrumental in setting up the organization and also doing more and the background. So while I'll be talking, they'll also be coming in at certain points. So a summary of 2025, I think we've been able to achieve certain things that we talked about. I think the end of 2024, that was when the idea came into being that we need to set up an organization that is mainly focused on the members, and it's member-based organization, meaning it is solely owned by the members and not any other person. So basically, that is what this particular organization was set up to be, community engaged organization. Now, here, I'll say that in starting with it, we needed to register the organization. We've been able to do it. And I think at this point, it will be better to leave it to Kirsten to talk about the registration of the entity. And also, I believe Felix is also here, can also talk about the bank account registration and the process and how they're able to achieve it. Yes. So Kirsten, I think it'll be nice to talk a little bit about the registration and why the need for initial directors to be able to start the registration, and Felix can take it from there.
Great. Thanks, Joseph. And again, thanks everybody for being here. As you know, we wanted to have some formalization for the network in terms of setting up a not-for-profit arm. And quite a lot of research was done between Joseph as well as Andrew, etc., and the team to see where to found the entity and what type of entity to set up. And in the end, we selected South Africa, and we've established finally, after quite a lot of back and forth with the legal team, a not-for-profit. And from that not-for-profit, what we needed to do was establish founding directors. Should I pause? Okay. So yeah, and Martin will talk a little bit also about the steering committee and this type of thing that we're busy with as well. So that's a little bit on the setup. We are official, we are a not-for-profit, and handing over the bank account information to Felix. Please go ahead.
Yes. So the bank, like Kirsten said, the bank set up. Everything seems to be in place. The legal entity is established. I think was a little bit of money put into the account just to keep the account alive. So it's all ready now for the next step, which is sort of I think more of a democratic process of electing the first round of true directors for the organization. After, like she said, we pretty much just stood in to get the technical stuff set up. So as far as I understand from the lawyers and from the banking and everything is ready now. So yeah, that's about as much as we have at the moment.
Right. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Thank you very much, Felix. So basically, that is it. Now we have our registration done, and it started from being a company to an NGO. And now the next step to finalize in 2026 is to become a public benefit organization. And as Felix said, we've also been able to set up the bank registration details and everything, meaning any other project that we engage in, we can put the money in our account and for us to run our affairs. And just to add a little to what we did in 2025 is the able to have a website which is now running. You can see the website link there, just Africa Makerspaces.Africa. We also have a YouTube account, and some of these videos, like the community calls that we had, we can have all of them at the YouTube. We can also have it also in the website, all the information there, and also get to know exactly what we are doing. Some of the members are also talking about in terms of their work, and also learning to also improve each other and also to collaborate. Now, the interim committee is basically in order to ensure that there is transparency, accountability. There was a need for not just one person to, even from the very start, to run the whole show, but to have a team that will help in coordinating things in terms of reviewing the constitution, reviewing the activities of Africa Makerspaces, and also manage the affairs until the board is being elected, or the board members are elected. And just to give it to hand it over to Martin to talk a little bit about just a brief about what the interim committee did and will be doing until the election takes place in 2026. So Martin, I hand over to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining. I think I can say that we really had a long journey to make sure that everything comes to where it is. We had different people playing different parts, including even mobilizing members to come in. Once we had agreed that let's start building this organization together, we had to get at least a committee that can be able to consult here and there and make some decisions for things to proceed. So the interim committee was selected as follows. We had Joseph, we had Tochukwu Chukwueke from Nigeria, we had Doju Hono, we have Dr. Amare, myself, Martin, and Valerian. And the committee had the work on making several decisions to make sure that activities planned are able to proceed well. And apart from the committee, we, as we know, we were able to get small funding through distributed manufacturing. So we also kept on working also closely with the board of the distributed manufacturing board, and also along the way we committee made decisions on finding the founding board members to help us with the registration. And because we found out, because we were trying to look at every country where we are able to register easily, and because we found out that South Africa would help us to do that, and that is how we got volunteers who really accepted to give themselves give their input on how to register the organization, and so they became the founding board. So generally, of course, the founding board, which is Steve Gray, Felix Holm, and Kirsten. So they have done amazing work in every department. And so the work of the founding board is to make sure that, sorry, not the founding board, but the interim committee, to work with every members until the actual election, where the real board, just like Felix have said, now the actual board will be elected. So we'll have a proper election. So the interim team should help us on how that election will be done. And we also agreed that the interim board will not be barred from vying for elective position, but we will make sure that that is done seamlessly and so that we can have the active board. The other things that were done included development of the constitution and any other documents which was being used. So generally, I just want to thank everyone for all the work that we've done. Each and every person's effort has been very important. And because I know I might not get another chance to talk, I'll just encourage members to subscribe. I'll encourage members to continue inviting other members to come in, because we are actually building a people-owned organization. And so each and everyone's presence is necessary. So let's keep on identifying other members and bring them in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. And yes, I think indeed the Term Committee have done a marvelous job in 2025, and we hope that continue to do the job in 2026 until a new the election takes place. So just to say a little bit about the interim committee was also a way to ensure that the work is done seamlessly without having to have just one person taking charge of everything, and not other members getting more involved and being more transparent about what is happening or what we intend to do as an organization or association. And the plan is to have the election done hopefully by the end of before February or after February, when we've been able to become a public benefit organization. And I'll say that it has become a bit of hinder because we've not been able to get to that point of becoming a public benefit organization, and we hope that we'll be able to do that in a very short period so that we can continue with it. Now, when it comes to funding bits, we've been able to, in 2025, we've been able to submit at least 3 different fund opportunities, and now we are in the hopes that all of them will go through so that we can start working, and also members can also have some kind of benefit from these grants that we hope to achieve or we hope to get in 2026 to start our activities. So they are the Gen AI proposals, Sec Labs, and soil health. I don't know if Kirsten, you have other ones that you would like to also share with us.
Well, I mean, yes, so these proposals were written last year for some of the funding windows. And just to mention that we are working on some more fundraising for Africa and African Makerspaces based on what we're finding in bids and, the right sort of mix. So we're doing some proposal concept development at the moment for Estonian development aid, which is quite nice. I mean, it's not the biggest budget in the world, unfortunately, as they never are as much as we want, right? But the window closes at the end of this month, and the project would start already from March. So we hope that we've got some nice ideas there, as well as looking at some new ones that I've seen today, like the Goethe Institute, depending, and Matthew mentioning now that he's looking for fundraising for doing 10 repair cafes. Obviously, that's also something we'll put on our list. And we will look at then sharing bids, obviously, on the group, but we're actively ourselves as Africa Makerspaces directors trying to put together bids that we can do, not only to keep people like Joseph on as our main person at Africa Makerspaces currently, so we appreciate you, Joseph, but also to be able to impact as many of the Africa Makerspace members as we possibly can going into 2026. So if you hear of anything, you need help proposal writing, you have ideas for proposals, please do ping me and Joseph and let us know where we can help you. Back to you, Joseph.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Kirsten. So just to end the 2025, I want to thank or acknowledge some few people. these are just the speakers. There are more, but these are just the speakers for who made it to our community calls. Matthew Lubari from CC4D, Andrew Lam, Kweku Efai Duampoma from Enix, Dauda, the Vice President of Refao, is also the CEO for Zamzam Lab in Senegal, then Yusuf, Menzi Lab, CPT, and also in South Africa, Cape Town University. Thank you very much for being part of our call and also contributing to the work that you are doing and making it a very memorable one. So just to start with 2026 and some of the proposed ideas that we have. So the first one is to continue our community call, which will happen. We hope that it will happen every 2 weeks on this Thursday. So it means our next community call will be next 2 weeks, this same time, so that we all get to be a part of it. Now, also, we've talked about being a public benefit organization, and we hope that we'll be able to finalize it. Andrew is unable to join this call because yesterday he had to move from London to Australia, so I think he's a bit jet lagged, and he had to be in a call during that time too, so might not be able to join us today. But after this call, I'll try to reach out to him and engage the lawyer on how we can finalize this. So the interim committee again in 2026 will continue its work and we'll be reviewing the constitution. Martin, I don't know if I should continue from there or you still want to come in and ensure that what I'm saying is the right thing. Dr. Amari is also here as well, so that we know we are all in the same direction. So Martin, yeah.
Sorry, I missed what you are saying. Sorry.
Sorry. So I'm saying that this interim committee will still continue its work in 2026 until the election. So I was just trying to talk about, we'll still review the constitution. We need to also ensure that the constitution is given to members to also look at it before it's finalized. Because we've already finalized, because last year before the registration, we reviewed it and sent it to members. But we realized that there are a few things that might not be in what we use in the registration, but we need to include it. For instance, gender policy and other related issue that cannot be part of the registration, but needs to be part of our constitution to govern our operation. For instance, giving some quota to women and some quota to certain people with disability. All these are things that we believe that it needs to be part of the constitution so that we become more of a formidable association. Yeah, and why the interim committee is to ensure there's transparency and also robust covering of the constitution to ensure that every individual is part and included in this particular association. Now we need volunteers.
Yes, I think we will need to create time for members to give feedback on the constitution, on the few amendments that we want to include, because we should go to the election with a complete accepted constitution. So once that is done, then we can decide to vote on it so that we fully adapt it as our new document with all the changes, and then that is what we will move with towards the election. The interim committee should be able to help in working closely with the election board to make sure that all the necessary voting plans are done in order. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much. So now just to talk a little bit about what we need at this moment is that we need lots of volunteers. Myself and all the interim committee, the initial directors, all of us are volunteering at this moment. None of us are being paid. And we need more volunteers to do the work. So we want anyone who is interested in supporting. I know I've already had lots of discussions with Sam, who is very much interested in managing our social media platforms like LinkedIn account. So I know Sam is already interested, and we also need volunteers to our website, to improve the website. So if anyone has knowledge about website improvements, Kirsten, I know you are very good at it. Also newsletter development. We also need volunteers for that. And we also have to talk about how we can all come together to develop ideas for Makerspace track at AfriLabs. I believe that is a very key thing that we need to talk about. So these are some of the things that we would want to talk. And also anyone who is interested, please don't hesitate to contact me, Kirsten or Andrew.
Questions, if I can ask. For social media, is it about creating posts and handling the page? If it's website improvements, what's the website built on? Is it WordPress or what exactly? For the newsletter as well, same question of using MailChimp or something. And then volunteering for Makerspace track at AfriLabs. This is also quite exciting. I think what would be unique for us if we are to proceed to Makerspace track this time, again, depending on the location and whatever labs will be available in that space, is to bring the Makerspace experience at the track at AfriLabs so that people can actually understand practically hands-on what it could be. So I think I was speaking to, for example, Rosanna from the Geek Network and helping her plan something for Republica. So it was quite an exciting list of activities we came across of how to use AI with Makerspace activities in the Fab Lab and bring that experience to the community at large. So people who have not engaged before practically with the Fab Lab or Makerspace equipments can engage firsthand as well. Apart from having, a thematic, panel discussion or talks as such. My ideas at the moment.
Okay, I think these are great ideas. And just to answer your question on the website, yes, we are using WordPress. And for the news letters, we are looking at it from just to create news about Makerspace, Makerspace activities, those that are Africa Makerspaces is doing, those that members are doing. The public domain, either in Africa or even in Europe or in other parts of the world, that we think can benefit makers, can benefit innovators, can also help members to also learn from whatever we want to share. So these are some of the things that I want to share. And I think your idea about volunteer for AfriLabs is something that with the little experience that I got from being part of those that helped in organizing in 2024, Martin also included Tochu Crew part of it. It was just deliberating on what's the main topic or what we want to talk about in relation to Makerspace, and what tone do we want to go for that particular event? What do we want to say to attract people to be more interested in Makerspace activities? What do you want to say to even attract government officials or leaders of our communities, and even in investors to also invest in Makerspaces? So we can have a lot of ideas, and we can all use it in drafting the track that we want to build for the AfriLabs event. I don't know if maybe Martin, who also has a lot of experience, can also share something. But that's basically what, we did. Yeah. So just to mention, so these are all volunteer positions, and okay, thank you. So we are still, I think it would be good that we already prepare ourselves for it and have ideas and what we want to say before it gets to that point. And also anyone who, it doesn't matter whether even where it's going to be held, you are not coming from there. So far as you want to share something, you think that there's some ideas that you think will be very beneficial to you or to the community at large, you can bring on board, you can come in and also add your input to it. So yeah, so just to talk about the volunteers we need, these are some of these are just a few, but there are more, and our next slide will mention it. So it's been like 2 years since we also held our Makerspace gathering in South Africa, Cape Town, and we hope that this year too we'll be able to have our Makerspace gathering. And it will be very, very essential if we're able to do it. But most importantly, we will need funding to be able to do it. And we are looking at a range of, let's say, $10,000. I've made it $100,000. Sorry, I said 10,000. $100,000 to one, support travels of members that will be attending, accommodation of members, and feeding. So basically, those that may not necessarily have the entire money, maybe we can support them, some in accommodation wise, some in travel wise, some in feeding wise. Others that can support in certain aspects can also maybe shortfall or shortcoming in other aspects. Then we need funding to support. So basically, we need people, or we need fundraisers, people that are very good at fundraising, to also come in and help in that. Target mainly will be on the Makerspace gathering. And just to say this, we have not really thought about where we're going to have it, because we want all of us in the meeting to think about where we think our next meeting will be, our next gathering will be very, very important. Maybe in terms of investor-wise, maybe in terms of policy-wise, maybe in terms of Makerspace movement-wise. So all these are things that I believe we can still be talking about it or deliberate on it when we open up for more information and feedback from you. And just to say that, maybe Kirsten, do you have something to talk about in this regard? Because I know you are very good at fundraising, and maybe you want to
I wish
say
I was
something.
really good at fundraising, so I had millions of bucks to give to everybody, but we'll get there, right?
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to mention that obviously we're looking for calls that would fit this type of fundraising, and also any of the proposals that we're putting in, we're considering trying to add this as an element where we can. So I'll look for the link for the Goethe Center, which it does more of a cultural and creative event fundraising kind of angle. But I think we could still structure the Makerspace gathering as that, since we are creative, making things people. So yeah, we'll give you more feedback on that as soon as we've looked at it in a bit more depth. But again, if anybody has any ideas and any links, please shoot them to myself and Joseph so that we can follow up and see if that would make sense for fundraising. And obviously, we're going to try our luck with AfriLabs because they make so much money from their events. It's crazy. I think one stand at an event is 100,000. If you consider that's just one stand, that's pretty mad, right? So we'll see how we go. Back to you, Joseph.
Thank you. So I think one thing that we did last 2 years for our gathering was to make it like do it at the country or even the region where AfriLabs also organize their event. So right after AfriLabs, we also organize our Makerspace gathering. And that is just something that I want to put across. Maybe just one thing was to even get lots of people to attend our event, lots of investors to attend, government officials to also be part of our event, other makers, other enthusiasts to also know that we are having events just nearby in maybe a couple of days so that they can also be at our event. But this is just something I wanted to share, and for us to also think about. And now I think here is about fundraising strategy for 2026, and basically we are going to delve into more fundraising in 2026, trying to get more partnership collaborations with other organizations to raise more funds for Africa Makerspaces and members. And I think, Kirsten, maybe at this point, you want to talk more about the things that you are doing in 2026 in relation to fundraising for Africa Makerspaces and members. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I jumped the gun because I spoke about it a little bit earlier on. But maybe what I would suggest is, obviously we're trying to play around with as many open source tools as possible, but what I can do is put together our kind of funding pipeline Google Sheet that we've worked on with Andrew as well, just into we do have a shared Google Drive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but maybe, I mean, does everybody use Notion as an example? It's what I've been using mostly at the moment. So we could also make like a space on Notion if everybody's comfortable with that. And then put the fundraising ideas like the one Matthew was mentioning, and then a few others. So obviously what we're trying to capture for the fundraising strategy is areas of interest. So repair cafes, we know, is one. These other ones that Joseph shared earlier, like the Gen AI and the soil proposals, those were people that approached us, and Andrew went forward and made sure that the Africa Makerspaces is listed on the EU portal that gives us eligibility to be part of any consortium that's going for funding for various projects. So we joined those by random serendipity. And for these other ones, we're actually trying to be a little bit more strategic. So on the one hand, the strategy is to join any consortium that needs African Makerspaces, would like to work with us, and then involving as many of the members as possible. Whereas on the other avenue of the strategy, we're trying to have key focus areas that we're all interested in, that we'd like to, work on. Like with Ali, as an example, we're talking about doing things on the coast. Same for Martin, looking at Lake Victoria. Like, how can we support initiatives around these ecosystems where water is, so blue tech. And obviously green tech is interesting. So I'll put together a Notion board and I'll pop it into our Google Drive and we'll share it with you guys next week, if not over the weekend, so that you can just put comments, any other interest areas, and we'll try and cluster all of that information together. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirsten. And also recently, just to also acknowledge Andrew again, he added myself and Kirsten to one LinkedIn account, which is Global South, and they post lots of funding opportunities. So I saw one which was on a collaboration between Africa organization. It was basically about having a big organization like an association partnering with Austrian organization who is also into innovation. And I forwarded it to Andrew. He contacted one organization in Austria, and we hope that we're going to have a meeting soon and start working on that proposal. And I think it's going to be something great, because it's basically, the idea is that they should be able to bring down to Africa, or come down to Africa and share or support the work that they are doing. It's basically an organization which is more of a makerspace, but a very huge one. And the ideas and the things that they are doing, they can also transfer it to the part of our continent. Yeah. And as Kirsten also mentioned, there are streams of grants, and we want to apply to. So we are looking at it. Even Orange Foundation and MasterCard Foundation are two areas that we want to really get in contact with them, have strong connection and bond with them, and maybe hopefully we can get like long-term contracts to support Makerspace. And the whole idea of whatever we are doing is that whenever there is also opportunity for grants that are for Makerspace, meaning that Africa Makerspace itself shouldn't apply for, then it is very important that we link up with the Makerspaces that we think are eligible to apply. Then any kind of support that we can give to that Makerspace, we give that support to that Makerspace to also apply to such grants. Yeah, so I wanted to also make sure I share that. And the Makerspace magazine this idea is something I believe some of us that were able to join our gathering in Cape Town really like the magazine that we did. We're really happy and very interested in it. And we hope that this year too, we will continue with it. Last year, we weren't able to do it because there are lots of things that we needed to put together. But this year that we think things are more calm, things are more established, we'll be able to have a magazine. And basically it's about getting all the makerspaces that we know, contacting them, having a brief meeting with them, and getting whatever they are doing or what they've done previously, let's say from 2025 up till now, and putting them into a form of magazine, including pictures. So I will indulge all of us to take lots of pictures, document the work that we do, and put them down, because there'll come a time, maybe in the middle of this year, where we'll reach out to you, have a short interview with you, get the documents and the pictures, and develop a very nice magazine that can be shared with other investors that's about the work that you are doing, and they can contact you directly for your effort. Yeah. So I believe I want to open up the floor for questions. So if anyone has a question, discussion, any ideas, and things that you think we didn't maybe talk about that you think will be very relevant to the discussion and the meeting that we've had. And as we wait, I think I can see Steve on the call. I'm now able to open the participants group. So Steve, if I would really love if you can share some few things. Kirsten has spoken, Felix, Martin, Ali, and most of them have said a few things. I would like to also hear from you.
Sure, no problem. What would you like to hear from me about?
Basically, yes, we talked about the registration process, and also we talked about the banking registration, and I would like to even hear from you on certain aspects of your idea of even having to raise funds for Africa Makerspaces.
Yeah, sure. I think we proposed this whole idea as a potential business model to support makerspaces. So having run a makerspace for 12 years, I know how difficult it is, an independent space, not linked to any university or any organization. And I think that the clear value of a collective is that we create a network that has value. So an individual space doesn't have the same value for any of these funders as a collective does. So a lot of the funding calls will be wanting to make a certain type of impact over a certain area, and they want to feel as though the impact is sort of reaching the whole of Africa. And so either through specific allocation of geography or just the general approach of the funding, or the general goal of the funding is to impact Africa. So by having a collective, we're able to offer access to a network of people doing work on the ground in Africa. And then obviously we have the common capability of doing certain things that are activities that happen in a makerspace, but a lot of this can be used as a basis or as a foundation for a lot of different activities, whether they be AI, gender equality, whether they be entrepreneurial development, whether they be green technologies, anything that comes out and becomes sort of a theme of the day. As long as we have a community of people that are engaged with us, and as long as we have access to those communities over a geographical area, then we have potential to leverage some of that funding. So I think keeping the network connected and understanding what everybody's capabilities are is quite crucial. So knowing where people are strong and what things they're able to do. And I think, the main point of this organization was to capture some of the kind of project management income that gets allocated to these types of development projects, and to allocate those to African partners. So that doesn't get, majority of money can sometimes get used up through the project management. So I think that's my encouragement, just for everyone to keep connected. I've got a dream of getting connected devices with live stream feeds 24/7 across all the spaces, so that we can actually be in contact and feel like a proximity to each other, and work on projects together and have discussions, which doesn't necessarily pull us away from our day to day. So that's a project that I've continued to work on. We worked on it with Kirsten. We keep looking at opportunities to find projects that can support that, so that we can just make this thing more connected. So in the same way as a physical meeting would be a good way to continue to strengthen the network, I think having some sort of connected devices, I'm thinking like 3D printers that we can all access and connect to, would be quite exciting, and a way to have like live camera streams and live camera feeds, so we can see the activities that are happening in each space, at all times. I think for me, that project's quite exciting. So yeah, if anyone else is keen on that, let me know, and we'll add you to the working group on that.
Yeah. And I think there's something that you've discussed with me quite a couple of times, and I think it would be nice if we could get a lot of people who are very much interested in it. And I also had a discussion with one of the Makerspace managers in Ghana, Mustafa Dawda. I don't know whether he's on this call, about the same idea, and he was really excited about it. I think he couldn't join us today, but I'll let him reach out to you. And
cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I think just what you mentioned about having to know each and everyone's strengths, it comes to mind that there is the need for me to expand the form, the Africa Makerspaces form, of all the members and their strengths, and also what their capabilities are, and also their resources, and what they've done in the previous times. So I'm gonna develop a form and share with all of us here, and also in the WhatsApp page, to add more of their input and what they are doing and what they're able to do. And so that when there's this kind of ideas, it will not be difficult to reach out to you and include you in the project. Yeah. So that's something I'm gonna do in a very short while. So I don't know if anyone has any other thing to say concerning Africa Makerspaces 2026, things that even we think that we should have done in 2025 that we didn't do, things that we can improve upon, and any contribution is highly welcome. All right, so I think we've already exhausted our time, but thank you very much, all of you. Thank you so much for being here. It's a very nice beginning, having to know that this call was announced about just early last week, but lots of people were able to join, especially before we had to share another link. And we hope that in next 2 weeks, there'll be more people to join, and we'll have more updated news to share. And I'll say that please don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll also share in the group all of us who are interested in becoming like a volunteer, just as myself, to support certain aspects of the entity, either social media page, either website, either any other field you think you are very good at that you can be able to support fundraising. Please don't hesitate to do so. Reach out to me, or Kirsten, Steve, Felix, Martin, and Andrew, so that we can get you involved. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful week. See you very soon, and let's continue the conversation in our WhatsApp page. Thank you all, and thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Cool.
Thanks,
Cheers,
bye.
guys. Cheers, guys.